Hey Gina, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut transition lenses for your new Coach 5031. These are the Spencer. Of course, every frame comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together while it's being shipped from overseas, and you're going to receive all the manufacturer's original packaging. But this is the Coach 5031 Spencer. It is color 9003 black in the 53 eye size, and even though they call it black, well, it has a black front, but it has a bluish temple color. Hopefully you can see that very navy or midnight blue. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and pop out your original demo lenses, one of which says Coach, and then I'm going to put it into the tracing element of my edger and hit start. Everybody wants to know, how does it know what shape lens to cut? This is why. That little stylus pops up and it's going to go around and trace the inside of the right side of the frame before doing the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Coach frame and you'll receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. And ironically, Gina, you have one eye that needs prescription, one eye that does not. So you actually cover the gambit, prescription and non-prescription. So in just a moment, the shape of your lens will pop up. And there it goes. And that is the shape of the lens we will be cutting tonight. I will, oops, that's not the right button. I will minify it down to the correct size. That green outline is the shape I will be cutting. I'm actually going to magnify, I keep hitting the wrong button, magnify it back up to the original size or the larger size. I'm going to take your right lens, place it onto the platform. Now, the pupillary distance for your right eye is 33. It starts at 32.5, so I'm going to hit this plus button one time until it magnifies to the correct size. I do want to do an optical center height of 17, and we're going to bring that up there and change the layout, and there we go. So we're going to take, this is a block, or as I like to call them, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting. So I need to grab a double-sided adhesive sticker, of which I have two here. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick this onto the first block. Do the same thing now for the second one. Peel away the label to make the black side sticky. Now on the back is a silver button. That is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice tonight. The first time it's going to hold it in place into the arm here, and I'm going to lay out, the reason why I have the dots on there, it helps me lay it out and you can see them tonight. That is the optical center and your pupillary distance. I am going to get everything lined up just perfectly and hit this button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. I'm going to do the same thing now for the left lens. Pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. The magnet, line that up where it's here in the arm. Get everything lined up. Now your pupillary distance for your left eye is 34. So I'm going to go up to 34 there, same optical center height, and get everything lined up there just perfectly. Hit this button, the arm's going to come down and place the block onto the left lens. Now this is the edger. This is what costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out, buy their own, put it on your kitchen counter. You can cut your own glasses at home and you won't need this guy anymore to do it. But the actual cutting wheel is over here on the far right. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material. This wheel in the center, that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the V-shaped bevel on there. I do want to change out one thing on here from the last one I cut. Drop those off, and I'm going to put this in here. And now let's go ahead and put your right lens. The magnet is going to do its job a second time tonight. It's going to hold it in place into the chuck. Thank you, Chuck. And I'm going to wake up the computer. Actually, I got the stylus. Why am I using my finger? These are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, high index plastic or Trivex, I would select that, but we're going to stick with polycarbonate. I do not want to polish the edge of your lenses. I do not want to put a bevel on the front surface, the convex surface of the lens. I'm only going to put a safety bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. I'm going to hit the green arrow, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by two white styluses, making sure that it's large enough to fit into the frame. You can see as it's going around tracing the shape of the lens that it will be cutting. And the old carpenter saying measure twice, cut once is measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel, so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing. Now in just a moment the lens is going to drop down onto the cutting wheel. And I wish I had cleaned the wheel in advance so you could see this. I apologize you're missing any of that. If you see light flickering in the background, that is water there to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off of the lens. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry or plastic, and high index plastic cut wet, as well as Trivex. So now your lenses are cutting. Now your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. The lenses are virtually unbreakable. They are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that need to be reapplied every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun. This is permanent and will never need to be reapplied. Now your lens is completely flat just around the edges, just like a nickel. If I were to take it out now, it would stand up on the counter on its own. The machine is going through its own check and balance system, double checking itself to know exactly where to place the bevel. And now it's going to drop down onto the bevel wheel, and it's going to get the knife-like bevel, a very dull knife like me, but knife-like bevel nonetheless. But your lens will be so sharp when it's done that you might be able to cut through a piece of wet tissue, providing that you soak the tissue in a bucket of water overnight and then press down really hard, and you might be able to cut through the tissue. Yeah, it is actually getting the bevel placed on there so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. Now water has begun spraying on the lens. It does that for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle to wash away any optical debris, optical sawdust if you will, that may be on the lens. Now this little lever that's coming out at the end of that lever is a spinning wheel, something you would find on the end of a Dremel tool. That's what's applying the safety bevel to the rear surface, the concave surface of the lens. Looks like you're inside of a car wash now, doesn't it? So it is done. In just a moment I'll open this door with my mind. You like that? I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes me a couple hours, but I can do it. I just got to keep staring at it and staring at it. Okay, so use my thumbnail to wipe away any optical debris that the water did not wash off, of which there is some. Now let's see if it fits into the frame. I'm going to take my, my Phillips head screwdriver, the red handle, which tells me it's the Phillips. Do a little bit of lefty-loosey. Tuck the left lens in at the outside corner. Not enough. I'm going to have to loosen it up some more. Do the same thing again. And then we're going to tighten this back down. And now that is in there. We're going to now go ahead and start working on the left lens. We're going to flip that over to L and put this in and hit the start button. Just like before, the door closes, the clamp shuts, and then it's going to be traced by the 2 white styluses again, making sure that it's large enough to fit into the frame. You can see as it's going around tracing the shape. And as always, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel, so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing, of which you have none. So you end up with a great cosmetic look on this frame. So I'm going to go ahead and take this block off. It is no longer needed. Pull the sticker off. I'm going to come down here to my trusty Marco 101 lensometer. I'm going to put the lens in just above that dot, which is your pupillary distance and optical center. Find the power. Actually spin the axis wheel to 50. Let's put it on 50. And when I find the power, I'm getting +1/4, which is 1 tick mark above 0, the smallest amount above 0 you can go. Now the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It starts at 0 and goes up in quarter increments from there, 0.25 of which you were at. Now most of your prescription is astigmatic. There is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. It fluctuates. It comes and goes. Now, this first number magnifies everything to the correct size. That's why there is a plus sign. You are farsighted. You need a little bit of help, just one step of correction for that, but you need 3 steps of astigmatism correction. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. So think of that as the fine-tune knob. We're going to turn that knob to 50, a straight line. Over here at this end is 0, 90 in the center, 180 over here. We're going to turn that knob to about 50, just past the 45 degree. And let's go ahead and check that. We were at plus a quarter. We're going to do minus 75. Check that, make sure that comes out okay. And we're at minus 50, exactly halfway between 0 and 1 in the red. We went from the black, this is like the roulette table, to the red. Imagine if you had 25 cents and you had let someone borrow 75 cents, which I don't know you can have if you only have a quarter. You would be 50 cents in the red. That's where you're at, 50 in the red. Now your left eye needs actually no correction whatsoever. You're 20/20 in that eye, but we need to correct it for, we need to put another lens in there, especially because you have transition lenses. So let's dry everything off. I'm gonna run my thumbnail around to make sure everything is perfect. Let's come back down here. I'm gonna grab my screwdriver, do the old lefty loosey, and we're gonna tuck that lens in there. Let me loosen up some more. Plastics always pop in there so well. The metals I'm going to take out all the way. And now I'm going to tighten everything back down, righty-tighty. We getting this? Are we getting this? Sorry if I'm missing any of this. I can't see what I'm filming. I am a professional licensed optician here in North Carolina. I am not a professional cinematographer, so I apologize if we miss any of this. That is good. I'm going to go ahead and take this block off. It is no longer needed. Pull the sticker off. That is no longer needed. We're going to come back down here to the lensometer. Check the power. And we're getting 0. No power whatsoever. 20/20. Now your pupillary distance in your right eye is 33, 34 in the left, for a total of 67. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to turn my card around. Place the PD stick against my, where's my PD stick? Here it is, against my thumb on your right lens. And then when we measure on the left lens, we're getting 67. That is cut perfectly. I want to check the optical center height, which is 17. That is cut perfectly. That is cut perfectly. So now this is the point in every video, that as I clean your lenses, I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, and of course free shipping anywhere in the United States, but when you get these in the mail, there's a very small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them, but I'm going to get them in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. When I take mine off and I press down, they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. For those of you keeping score at home, I'm wearing the Versace 3199 in color 5118, which is the blue and Havana. When Havana is just a fancy word for tortoise. Put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing, yo. Flip them over, press down, there is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. Check the tension on each spring hinge, that looks good. Now I'm going to go ahead and activate your lenses. First, I'm going to give a final cleaning with your premium microfiber cleaning cloth that I provide. I field test everyone to make sure they work. I don't want to send out a defective cloth. So if you see these wrinkles in here, you know that it works. So this is what your lenses look like clear. I'm going to go ahead and activate them, which means I'm going to expose them to a strong burst of ultraviolet light. So As you can see, transition lenses take about 30 to 45 seconds to darken when you go outside, a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now Gina, this is important, pay attention. All transition lenses will get dark on day 1, giving them 2 weeks of exposure to the sun, and they're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks. Now after that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they won't work is if you're behind the windshield of a car. Your windshield has UV protection to stop your upholstery from rotting or your dashboard from cracking, and that's why they won't get dark in a car. You have to be in direct exposure to the sun. Also, they're temperature sensitive, meaning that when it's 85 degrees and below, they will get darker than they will when it's 95 and above. When it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable, everyone's miserable when it's 100 degrees outside. So that's it. I hope if anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the contact me button on the website. Gina, I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut transition lenses for your Coach 5031 Spencer. And again, this is the color 9003 black in the 53 eye size. And hopefully everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring, ooh, my camera's falling, how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.